Today we're going to create our first program using Python. And the way we access Python is you go to the lower left of your screen. On mine it's the Windows icon. Scroll down through your programs to find Python. I have version 3.8. Hit the drop down menu and you see the Python IDE, which is right there at the top. We're going to select that. So now you're looking at the interactive mode, which is also called the shell. And we can type source code in here. We can type some instruction, print I, and hit return. You can see that does work. So if you are testing out some new functions, new instructions that you want to try, this would be a good spot for this. The only bad thing is, once this is closed, you will see in a second here that when you open up Python, once again, there's my IDE. Everything I typed last time is gone. Okay, so how do I save my source code? If we want to save a project, go to File, New File, and this will open up script mode. So you're actually looking at two windows, interactive mode on the left, script mode on the right. So this is where we're going to edit our source code. You can leave the shell open if you want. I prefer to close that for now. And this is where we can start typing our source code. It does not have a title yet. We have to save this. So right now, if I do close this, it's going to ask me if I want to save it just like a normal editor, such as Microsoft Word. I'm going to cancel for now. I'm going to use File, Save As to save the project. Before I do that, I would like to make sure I have a place on my computer where I want to save my projects. I have a folder on my desktop where I save all my Python projects. You could save yours on your own computer anywhere you want. So let's go to File and Save As. And by default, Python is going to want to save this where Python was installed. I don't really prefer to do that. I'm going to go to the folder I just mentioned on my desktop called Python Projects. And I'm going to name this my first program. And you can see here how it's saved as Python files. Leave that go. Click Save. And notice at the top, it does not say untitled anymore. It says myfirstprogram.py. py is the Python file extension. And this is the path to my folder and my program. So this is the path. There's my folder on the desktop to my program. It also mentions the version that I've been using, 3.8. Okay, we're halfway there. Next thing I want to do is take a look at how do I see the output. So this is called my source code. I want to see some output. So I'm going to go to Run. And you could just select right there at the top, Run Module. If your Run Module is not the top, it may be down the bottom. You have to make sure you click on Run and then Run Module. So we'll select that. And you'll notice that the shell came back to visit. So there's my output on the left, my source code on the right. This is my first program, source code on the right, and if I could separate these a little bit more, you can move these around anywhere you need to, but you can also see how the path to my program is right there, desktop, my folder, name my project. Okay, so I could actually close this out, but before I do that, take notice that Python does use some color coding. The output is in a a dark blue color. Notice here we have a few keywords. Print is a keyword. That looks like it's a purplish color. We have string literals that are green. And this is called a comment. That's going to be in red. Now, the reason this was able to run correctly was because I did not have any syntax errors in my program. Syntax would be the rules of the programming language. And if I break a rule, such as spelling print wrong, and I try to run and save this, okay, every time I run it, it's going to ask me to save it. Sure, I'll say okay. And notice that I do have something different this time. This would be an error message for me, and I would have to decipher what that means, but obviously I know I spelled print wrong. But notice how the output is not the same as it was before. That's because I made a syntax error. I actually broke one of the rules of the language. So I'm going to change that before I forget. So I think we're off to a really good start. We took a look at interactive mode, script mode, mentioned a few key Python terms. And I think we're ready to move on.